Recording, baby. Hey. What are you doing? What are
I'm
you
vibing to
doing?
the music. Hey, Philip.
Strange man.
They tell you dance like nobody's watching. That's because there's always people like Phil watching, judging you for dancing, for having a good time, letting loose, feeling free. Phil, you know the problem with taking a break. Why you feel the need to hit me up and say, "Yo, are we recording today?"
Nah, dude, I do that all the time.
No,
Scroll back. I do that all
before
the
we
time.
took the break, we just knew that if we missed Tuesday, we recorded on Thursday. The only time the question might come in is on Tuesday.
I also, because I checked the show notes document and I was like, little sparse in there.
Well, I think you and I both know the reason why. So, same reason. Anyway, let's not address things that don't need to be addressed. You know what I'm saying? It's all good. It's fine.
Yo, this album is a banger. Not gonna lie, it's set on Friday. Time was had. It was good. It's good. It's good. It's nice. If you're a house head, if you like 3-step, if you like Iqom, if you like house, like Afro Tech, Shlala had you covered on Friday night. That was dope. That was dope.
Jala Tukzin. Is it so?
I didn't see you at.
Is it like
the Jacaranda Festival?
Yeah, no, I didn't attend any of the days.
What happened, man? What happened, man?
So I was never going to go on Friday. Unfortunately, Friday I was busy. But I did think that maybe Saturday or Sunday I could make an appearance. So on Saturday, I hit up wifey because I was at a training session during the day, and then I was like, "Listen, on my way home, how you feeling? You want to go Jacaranda?" And she's like, I guess." And I was like, if you saying I guess. All right, let's see tomorrow. We'll do tomorrow. And the next day, it was actually a 2-day training. We had it on Saturday and Sunday with Simon Parkinson. The legend.
Parky and
Parky himself. Yeah, he flew in from Jersey.
Why didn't you invite me,
He
Dan?
did it.
That's messed up. You couldn't invite me?
It was exclusive to ZFM, Phil.
No, I don't care.
So-
Dan, you couldn't invite me. What if I wanted to meet my hero?
My man sat us down and he was like, "Listen, this is how y'all do radio. Tell you, some people know what they're doing in life." Shout out to Parky, man. Shout out to Simon Parkinson.
Did you
Anyway,
walk away with some nuggets, some gems?
Yeah, standard. You know what, Phil? I spend a lot of time training people. I even charge to train people, radio and stuff like that. And tell you, I recorded that entire session
And you're just gonna
for myself.
Control A, Control C, Control V.
Control V. There we go. And just to make sure ain't nobody following behind me, it's gonna be Control X, Control V. But anyway, my point is, at the training session, Miss Red was like, "Yo, how come you're not at Jacaranda yesterday?" I was like, "We thought about it and then we didn't, but I was thinking about going today." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm not going today. I can give you my ticket." I was like, "Dope." And he's like, "I passed through the cab and collected. All good." I was like, "Great." So Miss Red's got me a ticket. It's fine. We'll pay for the other one, or I'll speak to someone. Of course, I don't know. We'll figure something out, right? Then it was just really hot on Sunday afternoon, Phil. And then we We were making Italian cocktails at home. You know, it's Aperol Spritz. I don't know if you've ever had Aperol Spritz, but man, some good stuff, man. And then before you knew it, it's like 7 p.m. and it was just like, Musa Keys is still about to perform. Oh well, we missed the whole of Jacaranda Music Festival.
Yeah.
So it was terrible. It was terrible.
We haven't even started the show, but I think also, I think honest reviews are something that I think are important, right? So, but it's,
okay, wait. No, don't review it.
We might as well just get into it, and then we'll come back to it. Like,
let's start the show and then get into it.
Dan, after you've done a 5 minutes diatribe about Jacaranda, now you want to dictate to me.
I haven't spoken about Jacaranda. I just spoke about my days on Saturday and Sunday. That's all I did.
Anyway, so
if we're actually going to get into our content, our listeners, Phil, have become accustomed to a very loose, if you will, but still existing running order. So Phil, before you tell us how, Jack, you can get straight into it after this. No problem. We don't have to follow. You know exactly what? No, it's cool. You can get into it. But first, Phil,
jump up in the club. Everybody gather round. Two broke Twimbos in the town. Listen close to the sound. I need that guy and Phil Chad. Baby, bringing the fun. With the podcast vibes, we not stop till the morning sun. Every episode got me laughing, can't control my smile. Talking about the latest news with the unique sound. With to the world, spreading good vibes, keeping it real and entertaining. Two broke Twimbos, bring the heat to the floor. Everybody get Guy and Phil Chad in control. We gonna keep moving to the podcast. We are keep moving to the podcast flow. Hey.
yes, sir. So, first of all, we're back at it. Back to regularly scheduled programming. Two Broke Twimbos are back one more again. And we have to get the energy right. Phil, you, listeners, everybody who's tuning in, all the people you're going to ask to tune in, are y'all
good to go? Sound of it, thing them. Hey. Get mad now.
Let me hear a drum play.
Welcome there. Welcome to another episode of your favorite podcast. The Two Broke Twimbos are back one more again in the building. My name is Danny That Guy, a.k.a. Danos the Mad Titan, a.k.a. Denford Wekumarani, a.k.a. Denimbi. My Life Your Entertainment. Actually, I believe recording day today, Phil, is anniversary of Janimbi's death. I believe. I'll have to check and verify, but it just hit me when I said Danimbi. Anyway, back to it. A.k.a. I'm done with these streets. Hey, if anyone ever gifts me a car, please may I not have an accident a week later. A.k.a. Akuna Mumwendi Danmu.
That's right. And you don't know, you're unmistakable, the irrefutable, the unquestionable, the undeniable. You'll see me outside of bro. Phil Chad, flip floors, the big boss, baby, give me a B. Sexy don't love you. Filthy Phil, DJ Mkaraji, Phil on Musk, and of course, a shower. You take a drink. Welcome to this brand new podcast. Dan, you know this is a new podcast. We are new on the scene. There's so many podcasts popping up.
Yeah. It's like, damn, podcasts are popping up everywhere. Yeah, in case you're wondering what we're talking about, just go to our TikTok. Follow us on TikTok, Two Broke Twimbos. Reminds me of a meme that really, it hit me at my heart. And it was describing, listen, you got to go to 4 years of university. And then you become an intern. Then you work your way up and become a full-time employee. You work your way up to middle management. And before you know it, you've made yourself, you find yourself in senior management, and then the company's going through hard times because of recession. And the digital intern comes to you and you got to do a dance for TikTok for you to make sales. I was like, yo, for real though. What is this world that we living in, man?
Wait, did you have to do a dance challenge for social media?
I have not had to do one yet.
Oh, is that what that joke was about? Oh, hold on.
But there's plenty of people who should not be doing dance challenges.
Hold on. Wait, is this on Instagram? Let me check this out. Hold on.
I haven't done anything yet. No, I'm chill. I haven't yet. I mean, I'm going to have to at some point, right? I mean, that's the world we live in.
Wait, who's done
with your grown, distinguished self doing a dance challenge on TikTok? What is this world, man?
Oh, the whole boardroom. Ah, come on. Oh, wow.
Phil, if we want to build our TikTok audience, we're going to have to do some dance challenges.
Does your digital intern know that you shouldn't cross-post from TikTok to Instagram, because once Instagram sees the TikTok logo in your video, it's going to downrank the video?
You shouldn't cross-post, but you should post to both.
Yes, but
the original video.
They're posting the download, yeah, but
yeah, that shouldn't happen. That's it.
These people went to broadcasting school, did the graveyard shifts and everything. Like, let me phone the attendant. Be like, the attendant, go how far? Oh yeah, welcome back. So we're just gonna hop into it. So yeah, this weekend was Jacaranda. Tatindo was emceeing on Friday. It was good. Interesting. It was a new venue. Actually, I like the venue in theory. I think the execution on Friday was off. So I attended Friday. Saturday could not attend because my mom was in town. She came to visit my uncles. I got two uncles on doing too well, so she came to see them, and then she slept over, which was interesting. Obviously, Dan, you haven't had to deal with this lecture. I got quite the lecture.
I mean, what do you mean I haven't had to deal with it? Well, okay, if it's what I think it was about, then.
I did not raise you like this, okay? You're living in sin. I would not be impressed with this now.
You deserve that lecture, Phil.
I tell you, we were texting, bro. My mom made me for like 3 hours, 2 days nonstop, nonstop lecturing.
Nah, you deserve it.
Then she tagged my aunt in, Auntie Monica. Bah! Auntie Monica was tagged in. Auntie Monica hit me with another rapid fire. Then she tagged in Auntie Lillian. Auntie Lillian had up. Dude.
Anyway, focus, Phil. Focus. Tell us about Jacaranda.
So yeah, it was the stage insane. I won't lie. That stage was impressive. The stage, the panel, the stage was at least must have been at least 15 by 10 minimum, possibly bigger. It had truss. Hey, I'm getting very technical, but it just shows the size of this thing. I think the LED panels on either side were at least 6 by 12. So these are some huge productions. The marquee is huge, massive. It did seem to be a little under attended on the day I was there, and it's
on Friday.
I heard similar comments for Saturday.
Really, I heard it was pretty full, despite the fact that it was like a bit further out, and despite the fact that people felt maybe they felt that the lineup wasn't 100%. Like it was there were some acts you'd want to go see, but it wasn't like.
But ultimately,
immediately exciting.
You'd want to build a festival where you're not really going for the lineup, except for maybe two or three headliners. You're going for the experience. You're going for the atmosphere.
I agree.
The ambiance. But even
that's something that like Unplugged got to. Remember, Unplugged got to a stage where they wouldn't even announce which artist it was. It was, you just knew it was going to be full.
Yeah. So it was a massive undertaking. I think shouts to them for that. There was some craze about the lineup. It also was interesting because obviously Casper was performing just a few days after Scandal Gate. Apparently no one quizzed him from the audience. So thank God for that. I got to see a lot of the acts on Friday. Bumped into Joao. Dan, it's been a while. Joao does not remember you anymore.
No, he'll remember me. We talk every now and again on Instagram. Don't worry. He just obviously he meets a lot of people. If he sees me, he'll be like, Daddy! I have no worry about that. Let me drop him a message right now, actually.
Was talking to Joao, was talking to Dr. Duda, Good Cats, was rapping to Jlala, got to see them perform. So here's the thing. And it's a very first world problem, but it's a small inconvenience nonetheless. Right? As Dan has highlighted, when an event comes up, there's many ways we can get tickets. Sometimes we might be lucky enough with the organizers will personally hit us up and say, hey guys, doing this event, want to make sure you guys are attending, come through. We've even had situations where cards were given to us by organizers. They're like, we don't even want to phone you. We don't even want you to phone us. Here is a card. Whenever you come to our event, just pop this thing out of your wallet. You'll get the VIP treatment, no questions asked. You know? But once again, I don't believe that's my right. It's a nice thing. But also, if you just let me know where I'm standing so I know how to be treated. So on Friday, because I had a few artists on the lineup, particularly on that day, they were like, yo, Phil, we'll get you an artist tag. I'm like, bet. Once again, trying not to be problematic, I ask a question. I'm like, yo, just a heads up. These artist tags, how are they working? Is it just for today or is it for the whole weekend? I was clearly told by the whole team, nah, these are for the whole weekend. So I'm like, I bet. So tomorrow, what do I need to do? They're like, just come through. At this time, come to this office at this time. You collect your tag for tomorrow. I'm like, bet, good looking out, got you, thank you. So I'm operating on that premise. So now I know I'm covered. I need to get Madam some a ticket. So I make a plan for Madam's tickets, right? So there's one set of tickets and my artist tag, right? Cool. Saturday comes around. So the stipulation is you've got to go to the office by 12 before they start performing. Bit of an inconvenience, but I'm like, it is what it is. I'm going to go do it. I get to the office just before 12. They're like, oh no, the office for artist tags isn't here anymore. It's backstage. But now it's past 12. So now they've closed the gate to get backstage. So I'm like, okay, I can't get backstage. Cool. But I got the number for the artist liaison, called the artist liaison. I'm like, yo, Phil here. I'm here to get my tag. Could you please help me out? These guys are saying it moved. She's like, yo, are you guys performing today? We're like, no, we're not performing today. But yesterday when we collected our tag, we're told that we could come back tomorrow, get tags for the whole weekend, opportunity for artists to network, blah, 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 blah. She's like, oh, I wasn't told about that, but give me a second. Let me check with my superiors. I'll holler back at you in a minute. She checks with the superiors. She's like, oh, sorry, Phil. Seems tags are finished. Not there was a misunderstanding with how tags are being distributed. Our bad. That tag was just valid for yesterday. Tags are finished. But Phil, if you want, you could just go to our ticket office and buy a set of tickets and just attend the concert that way. I'm like, okay. But
yeah, what's the problem? Buy some tickets, Phil. You are, you're a tax-paying, gainfully employed member of society.
Oh yeah,
no big deal.
I'm a paid member of society. Then I'll follow with that part.
That's a great question, Phil. As someone who's traveling soon, I also have many concerns because but anyway,
but
that's a whole other story.
Point being, like, small inconvenience, but a frustration nonetheless, where I don't think it should be that difficult for something to be communicated or tags to be given. If they're not available, just say they're not available. You know what I mean?
I mean, if I may, just to pivot your story into a general overall discussion of events in Zimbabwe, I do think there's something we can glean from that. Phil, you would know this because we were part of, like, the recent event we were part of, and then events we've been part of previously. I think there's this feeling or this understanding that for, the biggest issue is to make sure that every single ticket is paid for. And on the one hand, I do somewhat understand because, you got to make your money on ticket sales. But on the flip side, you also have to understand that there's a reason why certain people are invited. So, for example, if I was hosting an event and it was a high profile event, right? I have top artists coming in, and Miss Red calls me and says, "Hey Dan, I'd love to come to your event." I'm not going to charge Miss Red because I know that Miss Red just being there, her presence there, because of the fact that she's of influence in the social media streets.
Not only that,
it means that
what are you drinking? I'm like, okay, what are you drinking so that when you get there, we got you taken care of.
Not only are you coming into VIP, but here's your bottle, here's your drinks. Let me know if you need anything else. Because I know the value of her being there and her presence and her influence and the people that will see her there is more valuable than the price of a ticket, right? I know that. The difficulty now maybe is I don't know that value for every single person, right? I don't know. There's some people that I'll immediately recognize, but there's some people that I might not know the value of. And, someone else would have to explain to me that, oh, that person who you don't know, actually there's value in them being there by ABC. And that's fair enough. I don't have to know everything. But in general, I think there should be an understanding that there's some value in having people there. Same with, again, Phil and myself. This is not to sort of claim that we're influencers or we're big deals or anything like that. But, I mean, I work at a radio station, man.
No.
Value to
So once again, and this is not me throwing it. Dan, you don't work at a radio station. What's your full title?
I manage a radio station.
Do you manage like the DJs at the radio station? Do you manage the kitchen at the station, or like what do you do exactly? So we understand. Like what is your day?
Okay. In terms of the post at the radio station, I have the top post at the radio station. Only people above me is C-suite.
So
group level.
Let me stop right there. Right, and this is the thing that I've even shouted at Dan at this about before, but also this is the, and I think it's hard to articulate this without sounding entitled, but also I think people don't understand the value that has. Right, imagine the equivalent of this, and obviously one of the most notable people in this position is Ebro Darden. Ebro Darden is not even the manager of Hot 97. He's the programming manager, which means he's a level below what Dan would be in the org chart in comparison. If we were to go apples for apples. Imagine if Ebro would hit you up and was like, yo, I want to come to your event. And your response to Ebro was, Ebro, man, I love you, dog. I'm sorry, but I don't got no more passes. I don't know what to do.
Okay, so to be fair, that didn't happen. I didn't hit.
No. I'm just giving a generic example. But also the flip side is, imagine having an event in Ebro City, and even just out of curiosity, saying, "Yo, Ebro, you wanna come through?" And I'm not talking about Jacaranda. I'm just talking in general, because this isn't the first event where Dan hasn't gone outside, because Dan doesn't push, right? Like if someone doesn't offer him the ticket, he won't go out of his way to ask. And
I mean, okay, wait. Okay, let me. Okay, I feel. Okay, let me clear something up. I have asked for tickets before, and I can't recall anyone who's ever said no, I won't give you one. But also, I feel awkward asking. I don't like to claim that I have value. Like, if you don't give me a ticket, so I don't ask. If you offer me one, and to be fair, Phil, I get offered tickets in fact, just in terms of tickets offered, I would be outside every weekend. But most of the time, it's like smaller events. I can't go to every single thing, obviously. In fact, I can't go to most things. But I get offered tickets all the time. On a weekly basis, there's an envelope that arrives at my desk and it has tickets to an album launch or to an event. And I understand. It's like, especially artists, they want to make sure that people who have some influence on radio are there and they're aware of the artist and they're able to just see what's going on. Same with people who have general entertainment events. That does happen. Jacaranda is a little bit different because Jacaranda's official media partner is Star FM, which is obviously competition with ZFM. But even then, today I was on the phone with Comfort, head of radio services at Zim Papers, and he was just like, "Hey man, how come I didn't see you at Jacaranda?" I was like, "Man, you didn't invite me." He's like, "Yo, okay, swear down. Next time I'm calling you, we'll chill together. Star FM side." I was like, "Thanks, I appreciate it." I feel like that's normal. I would do the same. A ZFM event, I would absolutely want to have Comfort there, or Steve Vickers, or whoever, programming manager at Star FM. So I'm not here complaining that I didn't get free tickets. I'm not complaining that at all. Also, to be fair, if I had called and I said, "Can I please have tickets?" I'm pretty sure I would have got them. But I'm not. I mean, if you offer, thanks. If not, I'll buy. It's fine. I'm not balling, but I can afford $20 or $30 for a ticket. It's fine. So I get Phil's point, but I also understand that there's some other dynamics at play. Listen, you know what I mean? The competition is the official media partner, so I probably wasn't in the original list. For most events, I think I generally do get an invite, and it's fine. It's all right. The next big event in October, I got, we're media partners for that. I'll have invites for that. I'll have a seat on the stage. I'll be the one seat right in front of Uncle Waffles. That'll be mine.
Oh, you're gonna be around
on the stage? No, I won't be around. But if I was around, anyway. So what I wanted to say is I just wanted to pivot your little bit of a rant over there to say,
wasn't even a rant.
You are
That's
working.
Not a rant. That's not a rant.
Yeah, you're not even a rant. Your thoughts, your musings, Phil. Your musings. I think there's a reason why. In fact, I use the example of Miss Red. I'm going to use Miss Red because I know Miss Red. I know she listens to this podcast, and I know she won't misunderstand what I'm trying to say. Right?
Wait, she listens? She listens to the podcast.
She listens. Every now and again, she'll just be like, "I was listening to your podcast." So,
hello, Samantha. How are you?
Maybe she just says, "Actually, we should call her." Call her, Philip.
Why must I call her? At past 8?
Because I'm not connected. No, I'm not connected. Yeah, phone.
I'm not phoning at past 8.
Anyway, what I was going to ask is Miss Red, if I was going to invite you to an event, how much would you charge? That's what I was going to ask.
I've got it. I know her rate. I know her figure.
Yeah, I know. It's different when she says it. Maybe she would refuse to say it. But to be fair, you would normally pay Miss Red to come to your event.
Yeah, I know her figure.
Because
and she'll keep it. She'll be the stopwatch will come out. The moment she lands, tick. I'm like, and time. Goodbye.
It's like you get appearance fee for 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever it is. Because she knows that there's value in me being there. Because me being there means the blogs and the whatever are going to see me, the gossip, whatever's, the people who are fans, the whatever, and it gives value to your event. So I'm not trying to describe myself as that. But I'm trying to say, Phil, for example, you are a figure in the entertainment industry. There's value in having you at an event. The artists know you, the media knows you. There's value in you being there. Yes, you could buy a ticket, but I think your presence is more valuable than the price of a ticket. So surely as the organizer of the event, you'd be like, no, I would want Phil there. Then again, not every single person knows every single person or is thinking about every single person all the time. So that's not a problem.
No, I'm not necessarily speaking for myself. I'm speaking for the easy slam dunks. And I'm also speaking from the standpoint of there's this weird cognitive dissonance that still happens today where, and I even saw, we've experienced this before, Dan. We've experienced it and this is with multiple promoters where media, granted media and Zim may not always be the best. Media and Zim may not always give you the most incisive or well thought out coverage, but there's still value in being discussed in media. It helps with a lot of things. And media, in some places I've been to, some events I've been to, there's not even a media pit. There's, you know what I mean? There's no media green room. There's no any thought given to, okay, media coming, how are we going to make sure media are comfortable so that they can paint this event in the best possible light? And we saw the antithesis of that when we were doing the Afro T10. The Afro T10, there was a whole media room. Media was catered for. Media had their own spot. Media made sure had their dedicated Wi-Fi.
Food, drinks, it was like, you kind of get there and you're like, well, I gotta say something nice,
And that's the thing. And that's the standard, in South Africa. And there was also a weird juxtaposition because that was the same day as Spring Fiesta, the same weekend as Spring Fiesta. Well, I'm going through this weird back and forth to just figure out if what I was told regarding tags is still happening. Regarding tags, I've got VVIP tickets to Spring Fiesta in my inbox, but I'm not in Joburg. So I'm handing those off to someone. And those people probably know that I'm not even going to be able to attend. But it's just like, yo, just so Phil knows we're thinking of him, just to make sure that Phil doesn't ever feel begrudged, we're making sure he's got his passes. Even though we know he's not going to use them. It's a weird dichotomy that I fail to reconcile.
I think I kind of know the reason why. I think it's a lot of the times the people behind many events are not media or entertainment people. So some of these nuances just completely flies over their heads.
But on the flip side, those are the same people that make your event. Like, it was, let me put it this way, Dan. It was easier for me to go see Kendrick Lamar than it was for me to see, let me not mention names, but yeah.
It is what it is. And again, just for clarity, I don't feel bitter or angry or whatever. I would happily pay for a ticket, no problem. I mean, it's no big deal.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, if it is, just tell me what it is. Like, if I, like, not, and that's the thing. It's not like I phoned you and I said, yo, Ndipo freebie. I was there in little office in Funza. Guys, what is the procedure?
No, before now I mean the past with Sha, the ticket, and normally I get if I ask.
So I can make everyone's life easier. I even, like, that's the thing. Like, I also understand at the end of the day, sometimes you're just following the directive. So I'm not trying to be a headache. I'm trying to make your life easy. You know what I mean? You're trying to make right. It's the same thing. Like when I'm booked with artists, when we're backstage, I find the stage and I say, "Yo, just so we clear, what's the stage access protocol? Where do you need us to be? Where do you need my camera guys to be? Can we record for how long? You know what I mean? So that we work together. I'm not trying to make your life difficult. I want to get in, get out. I want you to have a good time. I want you the next day. You know what? When Phil and his guys came on, they were a pleasure to work with. You know, they were on time. They weren't a headache. Their hospitality rider wasn't ridiculous. When we asked them to do what needed to be done, they did it and they disappeared. That's the impression we always trying to.
Phil has just touched on something. So Phil and I obviously have worked on some events, right, a couple of times. And normally what happens, right, most people might not know this, but when you see an event, there's a booking fee, and then in addition to the booking fee, there will come a tech rider. That tech rider is basically the artist saying, this is what I need for my performance. I need such and such lines. I need these instruments. I need da-da-da. I need my DJ. I need this many mics, etc., right? So it's for the sound engineer to make sure that all this is available for the person to do their live performance. And then there's often a hospitality rider. The hospitality rider is in the green room or backstage or wherever it is that the artist is chilling. This is what we want. We want this to drink, this to eat, etc. So under normal circumstances, you pay the artist fee, you get the hospitality rider, and you'll buy whatever drinks and food that the artist wants and their entourage. And then, of course, you got to make sure that the tech rider is set up so that you have the sound equipment that they need on stage. For the record, it's rider. I remember when I first started hearing about it, I used to think it was write up. What's the tech write up? What's the hospitality write up? Anyway.
This is why this is the problem of not reading. Then, like, if you read,
no, I would only ever hear it. I wasn't working in it. Only when I started working in it did I see it said rider. It's like rider. What's a rider? Oi, write up. Oi, rider. Anyway, my point is, it's always funny to me to see an artist's hospitality rider because it's somewhat of an indication of how popular they view themselves as being. Because as you can imagine, if and I don't want to disrespect any artist, let me say someone who's up and coming, who's kind of hot but is not yet a big deal. Let's say Young Gemini. Young Gemini is up and coming, you know, she's got a little bit of a buzz about her, but she doesn't yet have any hits. She doesn't really have. She's up and coming, you know what I mean?
Shout out.
Let's say you book Young Gemini.
I was getting a haircut today and I heard Lobola playing on Star FM. Shout out to them, man. Shout out to supporting the vibes.
Shout out Young Gemini, you know what I'm saying? Now imagine you have an event, you book Young Gemini. You're like, Young Gemini is one of the acts at my event. And she's like, she's like, okay, how much? And she says, let's say she says, I don't know what her actual amount is, but I'm going to guess off the top of my head. Let's say it's just her and her DJ, $1,000. She's young. She's up and coming. $1,000. They're like, great. Here's your payment or your deposit. Please, can you give us your tech rider and your hospitality rider? She gives you a hospitality rider, and on that hospitality rider, it says, 3 bottles of Dom Perignon, 2 Hennessy. Please make sure that we got lobster. And obviously, any promoter would be like, man, get out of here. But I feel like in every artist's head, there's the sort of like, what can I ask for and what's going too far? So it's always so funny to me to see what artist hospitality riders are. Because it sort of shows. I remember when we booked Ja Praiser and I was like, hey man, send your hospitality rider. And he's like, yeah, nah. I was like, no, come on, man, send it through. He's like, no, we don't really want to put that pressure. And I'm like, no, just send it through. It's all good. And then when we received it, it's like, it's reasonable. It's definitely reasonable for someone of his status.
The funny thing is, like, I filled half of it with just bringing stuff from the house.
Yeah, completely reasonable. Keen, if you're listening to this, please don't ever feel shy about that hospitality rider. That's a very reasonable rider.
Keen, remember. You know what? This is actually, you brought up a dope point. Like, you know what I also appreciate? I appreciate artists that no matter how hot they are, and I actually don't think this is gonna put anything out. Like, I don't think this is, I don't know. Is exposing a hospitality rider a bad thing? Especially if it's a good one?
I don't think so. I mean, is it a secret? I don't know if it's a secret.
So this is Volts JT's hospitality rider. Water for the team at room temperature and cold during the day. Mint and chips. Parentheses, crisps. End of hospitality rider. What?
You actually, by yourself, you'll feel like, yo, let me just throw in something extra. You know what I'm saying?
Nigga, hottest rapper in the country. No Hennessy.
Well, that's a whole other conversation.
No Hennessy, no alcohol, nothing. Just, my man said, just keep us hydrated and give us some chompkins. Can you do that for me, Phil? Just some water and some chompkins. Huh? Here's another person that I once again a new fan, a new favorite of the podcast. Feli Nandi's tech rider, Dan.
Hospitality rider.
Hospitality rider. 3 meals per day. I mean, come on. Obviously, everyone needs to eat. Standard. No special dietary requirements. Drinks, water bottles, and Red Bull. That's it. What? Are you kidding me?
Yo, I have to say this again. We said it last week, and I don't know if I can necessarily reveal why, but Feli Nandi is amazing. Feli Nandi is amazing. Her team is amazing. Shout out to Feli Nandi. Just shout out, man. Shout out.
Feli Nandi, all you need is water, food, Red Bull. Dream, fam. I was backstage seeing some of these international acts getting their tech riders put on their tables, and I was like, fam.
The other thing, obviously, that I'll say is sometimes
Julio, and you see Don Julio, bah. Then you see the 1745 coming out, bah. And you're like, yay.
So the first hospitality rider I ever came into contact with was Ice Prince back in the day. This was 2013. It was, I can't remember how many, but it was several bottles of Cavassier. And I saw people scrambling. Where am I going to find Cavassier? I saw people scrambling to get Ice Prince his Cavassier.
Yo.
Well, to be fair, I didn't see it. I was just told. So I don't know, maybe whatever the discussions they were having.
This actually, bro, did you see that?
It's just interesting. It's interesting.
Did you see that tweet from the 2B213 was complaining about people drinking his rider in the club?
Yes.
And that was such a, but you know what? That actually, I had so much PTSD. I had so much PTSD from that. So, for those of you that don't know, I'm not in the club often. When I'm in the club, it's either one of two things. Either I really want to be in the club for a specific reason, or I'm being paid to be there. If not, you already see me in the club. Because sadly, the club isn't what it used to be. Like you used to go to the club to hear what's new, to hear what's popping, see the vibes. But bottle culture has kind of ruined that.
That was the reason, huh? Yeah, Phil.
Oh yeah, definitely. I actually know.
Phil, I don't know why we okay. guys, I don't care what anyone says. There are 2 reasons to go to the club. Reason number 1 is to floss. Reason number 2 is to see some people. You know what I'm saying? You gotta see some people. You gotta see somebody. You gotta see some people.
Right.
Of course, I understand the peripheral reasons of good music to dance to and have a good time or whatever. That's not the reason you're going to the club. You're going to see some people.
Anyway.
So, but anyway. Unless you're being paid to be there, which is...
So I've been in the club. So normally what would happen in Zim is slightly different for me because obviously we don't really have that influencer writer culture except for the big A-listers. So, and even when that's happening, so like if I'm doing an event in the club and I know like Miss Red is coming through or whatever, what I'll do is I'll be like, all right guys, I know what Miss Red is drinking. I'm bringing the bottles in the afternoon. These are the bottles for myself, Miss Red, etc. Or I'll order the bottles and they'll be replaced. Or on the rare occasion, I'll just have to pay and then charge it to the client, charge it to the company, whatever. I think, Dan, you've been around where that has happened. So,
what? No, I wasn't there. Who said that?
You were there with your wife. What are you talking about?
Oh, yeah. In that case, I was there. Yeah.
So there's nothing more annoying than, and keep in mind, these are bottles that I've either expensed to the company or purchased at wholesale. I haven't purchased them at retail, and I certainly haven't purchased them at club price. But it still hurts. I'll have the section, table, bottles, whatever. And some random man will come up to the club, come up to the cruise. Hey, what's up? And you look at him and you're like, he looks familiar, but I can't place this name. I'm not sure if I know this dude. Do I know this guy? Maybe I know this guy. I think I know this guy, maybe. And then while he's saying hi to you, homie, without blinking, without losing eye contact, like he's looking at you, he will not break eye contact. Run down, take the bottle, open the bottle, take his glass, pour your bottle into the glass, close the bottle, put it back in. And you're like, my man's. Like initially you'd be confused, like, did he just? I think he might have, but did he? Did my man's just take my drink?
So what's the protocol there?
Sorry, I forgot.
Yes. Well, I guess we have no video for the first part, but anyway, what's the protocol in this situation? If you're in the club or you're in an event and you've bought the bottles, obviously, Phil, there's 2-3 bottles on your table. You are not drinking all of them. You're expecting that other people will also partake. You're the host. So probably it's your peoples that you've invited, and I don't expect that you will actually say, hey, you are allowed to drink from this bottle. So there has to be some kind of protocol for how will
Yes, there is a protocol. I was raised, Dan. And the weird thing, I don't understand. The protocol...
Wait, let me finish my question. My question is, should someone ask,
of course,
hey, do you mind if I have some?
Dan.
So what if it's someone who came with you in the same car?
Dan,
should they also ask?
Dan, let me put, like, once again, this is what I don't understand. This is not a foreign concept. If you come to my house, right?
Yes.
You come to my house. Let me make it easier for you. I'm with you. You're like, yo, Phil, friend X has invited me over to their place. And we go over to their place and we're chilling, chilled vibes. Maybe we're watching the footy or whatever. Right? I'm parched. I would like a drink of water. I have 2 options. But because I wasn't raised by wolves, we know what option I'll take. Option 1 is I'll get up, rummage through man's kitchen because I have no idea where anything is until I find the glass, then find the bottle, pour myself the water, come down, sit down. Or simply say, hey, my man, sorry to be a bother, but I'm feeling a little thirsty. Could I please have a glass of water? As the host, you could easily say, sure, no problem. It's over there. Or sure, let me get it for you. Or nah, nigga, I'm not giving you my water. All of which are answers he has every right to say. So if we understand that,
you can't refuse someone water in your house. You don't have a right to do that. Sorry.
But if we understand that context,
okay. But no, Phil, you're making unequal comparisons.
No,
here.
It's not unequal. It's the principle.
What if there's water? He walks in and he comes in. take a seat. My man, he's sitting in the lounge. On the coffee table in the lounge is water and some glasses.
Has he offered me? No. Has he offered me the water? Because there's a difference.
He has not.
Guys, he has. So as someone who wasn't raised by wolves, what you do? What would your mom expect? The first thing you do is, even though the water is in front of you, even though it's in front of you, the glass is right there. As any man with any common decency, you'd look over to him and say, "Excuse me, can I please have some water?" And he'd obviously say, "Of course you can. It's there for you."
I've come to your house before.
Dan,
I've come to your house before and asked.
Dan, how many times How many times do people come to your house and do that fake thing? Especially in Zimbabwe, you know it happens all the damn time. People come to your house around a meal. Then they do that fake pretend. So I was going to get no taguta. Sure, I was going to get all right, if you insist, okay,
That's okay. That's if it's offered, okay? And food is, I'm talking about, Phil, I've come to your house before and I've said, yo, can I grab a drink? And your response to me is like, dude, why are you asking me? You know where all the stuff is.
Because
you've said that to me before.
No, but also, Dan, once again, A, you and I have lived together. I also know you are a hooligan. And C, even if I say no, you'll still take. How many times have I caught you dishing out? And while you're dishing out, oh, can I have some food?
First of all, that has never happened. Second of all, this is...
You lie in front of God.
What I'm trying to describe.
You filthy liar.
Philip, you're saying I've dished out food at your house without asking you.
Should I call a witness?
Yes! Call a witness, please.
Hold on.
On top of that, we are digressing. My issue here is... Should I
call the witness or not?
Who is the witness?
Should I call the witness or not?
Yeah, call the witness. Let's hear this.
You're on the you're on the podcast. Don't say anything incriminating. Quick one. When Dan comes to the house, does he start dishing without asking if he can dish out?
This doesn't feel safe.
No. Answer the question honestly. Has Dan started dishing out without asking, and then while he's dishing out, then said, "Oh, by the way, can I have some food?"
Okay, first of all, leading question, Your Honor. Second of all, just be honest.
I don't think so.
Because I haven't.
Get off my phone.
What?
Anyway, you see, now that has been cleared up, we can continue with our actual discussion. And the discussion here is, Phil. Now, I may know that obviously Phil is my boy. Even if I'm at his house, man, there's no way he would begrudge me a drink of water or a juice or whatever at his house, right? Or if I see there's a bottle of whiskey open on the table, I'm sitting on the couch, on the coffee table, there's whiskey. I think I know our relationship enough to know that if I pour myself a glass of whiskey, it's not a big deal. But there's no clear definition between the line. There's no way we know where you cross over from, obviously you can have some, to you have to ask. So sometimes...
But there's a prerequisite there, then. There's a clear prerequisite, which is, what did you say? What is your description?
Kuti, I know that we're boys like that.
And this guy, plus also there's a precedent. And I think ultimately that's the thing. If you're a stranger, right? If you're going to the table, and this is the first time you've met someone, or you
stranger, 100% I'm with you.
Or you
stranger doesn't even have to be discussed.
You don't know their name. They kind of know your face, but they don't know your name, type of thing. And you just start pouring. I mean, guys, like,
okay, that's obviously that's heathen behavior.
No,
you reprobate.
It's fatherless behavior. Now it's different. Granted, societal norms and patriarchy.
Okay, it also, by the way, it also applies to pretty women.
That's what I was about to address. That I was going to say societal
I saw
norms
you were about to say it now, and I was about to say
because that's the thing. Like, and that the thing is right with me. No, but they are conditioned to do it because now the president is it as a pretty woman. Can I open them section? What open them section? What's in this section is mine because it's a social contract. My pretty face. It's like what we discussed earlier with the appearance fee. You are paying me an appearance fee to be in your section. And the cost of my appearance in your section is drinks. And then all of a sudden you start seeing, Dan, how many times have we been with a boy? Our boy will be nothing but Heineken, Zambezi, Amstel. That's what he drinks. Even in the club, he's just be like, yo, give me a bucket of those bad boys. All of a sudden, a baddie comes through. And then now we're seeing sparklers. There's Verve. There's Jaeger. There's some Blue Label coming through. And we're like, wait, who is all this for, yo?
Wait, you just triggered me. You just triggered a memory.
Yo, your card can handle this? Like all this time we thought you were buying beers because you couldn't afford it. You can afford all this?
I'm not gonna say any names because these are now grown people. At least one of them is now married. But many years ago, I'm talking maybe 12 years ago, there was this one girl who I used to hang out with a lot. We were friends. She would call me up on a Friday, on a Saturday, like, yo, where are we going this weekend type of thing. And we went to an event. And at this event, as we walked in, the setup of so there was music playing, there was tables all set up and people were buying bottles and whatever. And a bunch of tables had been put together. And on this table, there were a ton of bottles on this table, right? So the person who was apparently behind these tables was apparently a foreigner. To be fair, he claimed he was the sound engineer for Swedish House Mafia. And Swedish House Mafia were performing in South Africa around about that time. So he says someone had persuaded him to fly over to Zim just to experience Zim. So he's only there for the weekend, but then he has to go back in time for their performance back in da-da-da. That's what he said. Mm-hmm. I didn't question anything. He was just like, yo, I'm having a great time in Zim. Da-da-da-da. Come join our table, he says. So I had arrived to this place with my homie and her homie. Both of them dressed, ready to go out, chi-chi-chi. And obviously I understood the situation. My man saw some beautiful women. He ascertained that they're not with me, so come join my table. So we sat down at this table. So as we sat down at this table, there was a bunch of bottles of Blue Label on this table and a bunch of bottles of Black Label on this table. So these ladies were like, reached for the Blue Label. And then someone else on the table, not the person who invited us, was like, no, sorry, you can't have this one. You can only have the Black Label. So my homie blew a fuse. She's like, you think I care about hair? You think your Blue Label is da. Dan, let's go. How many bottles on this table? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 bottles. I'm going to go buy 6. Dan, let's go. We're buying 6 bottles of Blue Label. Wait, what? We're buying what? We're doing what? And then she like grabs me and she's like, let's go. We're going to the bar. So then I'm very confused. I'm like, no, the heck, we're not buying 6 bottles of Blue Label. That's insane. That's a Honda Fit right there. The funny thing is, I know who you're talking about. I now know. Yes,
just from the Fit, I know who you're talking about. And yes, shout out.
And it's only then that because I did it, like I knew her and I knew she was kind of well off, but I didn't really know her full story, right? I didn't know. I didn't think about it or know. And it's only then I was like, yeah.
So you hadn't thought about who the lally was. You hadn't thought about who the lally was.
I hadn't.
You're such a slap-on. You're such a slap-on.
I had it. So anyway, so eventually the guy came and he saw this commotion. He's like, what's going on? And then she's like, this man over here on your table says we can only drink the da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And then he's like, no, that's not, okay, this one is your bottle. This one is yours. This one's yours. Don't let anyone tell you, So your mention of Blue Label at tables just triggered a memory of that. And I remember afterwards, I was like, yo, who are you? Like, nah, man, I was just getting angry. I was not asking around. Then I asked a friend. I was like, wait, who is she? They're like, wait, you know who her dad is? So they told me, and I was like, oh, I actually didn't know.
But this is sometimes why I say Dan is very oblivious. Dan, you could have been caught in some serious crossfire.
I could have, because then there was sometime a couple of years later there was a funeral. I went by the cabin to go and Batama Oko Chichi. And they're just like, no, we're actually chilling here. Chichi. And then now other people who are not supposed to know that this is my homie are now asking, like, what were you doing at that house? I was like, wait, it's not like that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's a whole other story. My point is, sometimes, you know what I mean? It's not very, we act like it's clear. So if you're a stranger, it's absolute reprobate behavior to be going to a table and just starting to drink someone's drinks when you're not cool like that with the person. But sometimes, my thing is, sometimes you may not know if you are cool like that with the person.
But you know what the simple solution is? And you know what I do sometimes? Like sometimes then, like, you know me. Sometimes all I drink is water. And sometimes when you're in the club, going to the bar just to get a bottle of water is annoying. Sometimes there'll be bottles of water in the bucket. And you know what I do? When it's even just a bottle of water, a $1 bottle of water. If I know it's your section and it's your table and we kind of know each other, I'll tap you on the shoulder and be like, yo, my man's sorry to, you know what I mean? Do you mind if I take a water? And of course, no, it's fine. Have it. Cool. It's a simple gesture that shows a modicum of decency and
some
respect.
people might feel that you're putting someone in a weird situation. If you say, do you mind if I have a sip of your
But give them the
$600
option. No,
bottle of...
but that's the thing. Like, also use your discretion. If that is indeed the case, and you put me in a weird situation, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna like, yo, at least he asked, but he put me in a weird situation. I don't like him, but I'm gonna look at you in a totally different way if you take it, because now you haven't even given me the option of putting me in that weird situation. You've just violated. You've shown
Also, you said something like it was just a given. Obviously, if you're a pretty woman, you know, I mean, some people think that they rate themselves higher than they actually are.
So you don't let them into the section. I've also seen that. Like, it's a cold world. I've seen a squad, Dan, and you know we've seen squads be separated at that velvet rope. You know you've seen it. There's always one or two items in that crew that are always sitting down, holding the coats, looking after the bags while everyone else is having a good time. Or one or two of them that will be on the other side of the rope in the section. They'll be standing at the section, but they won't be in the section. And you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I'm so glad that this is no longer my life, because what a mess. You know what I'm saying? What an absolute mess. Even trying to maneuver. How did we even maneuver that, man? It's so complicated. Anyway, Africans doing it big.
We're still at the bottom.
So first of all, just today, a couple of hours ago, Phil, the Zimbabwe national team clinched a crucial 1-0 victory over Namibia in the Africa Cup of Nations qualifier.
Good to go.
So this was a home match played in South Africa.
Dan, we're not Namibia playing their home match.
The away match to Namibia will also be played in South Africa.
So just so we're clear, Namibia and Zimbabwe have return fixtures. But
Yes.
somehow these return fixtures are all at the same fixture. And it's neither Namibia or Zimbabwe.
So Namibia realized that SA is full of Zimbabweans. So they said for their home fixture, it's going to be a closed stadium. No one is allowed to watch it.
I love that so much. Oh, that was so funny. They're like, well, you won't catch us out here.
You almost got me. We said we're both playing in a neutral venue, but that's a lie. South Africa's not a neutral venue.
Oh, man.
Anyway, congratulations. Namibia had proved to be a hoodoo team for Zimbabwe in the past few years. So congratulations to Zimbabwe. It was Kama Billiat, who scored a penalty, gave us that 1-0 win over Namibia. The group is still wide open because we've had 2 draws in a row against Cameroon and Kenya. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how things go. All right. And then I want to give a shout out again. You know, Phil, I don't think there's any podcasts that have as close a watch on beauty pageants in the country. I don't think there's any podcast that has as close a watch.
We are front and center. I think you could say that Two Broke Twimbos is the miscongeniality of the beauty pageant scene.
Absolutely. So this past Saturday, Miss Cosmo International 2024 was held in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam. And Ruvimbo Njomboro.
Oh, Big Roo. Big Roo took it home in Ho Chi Minh. Ho Chi Roo.
She made it to the top 10. Top 10 countries were Indonesia, Zimbabwe, Mexico, Vietnam, Peru, Cambodia, Thailand, etc., etc. Blah, blah, blah. USA was also.
Only baddies on that list.
Unfortunately,
If your country ain't
when
there,
it came to the
your women are mingers.
Unfortunately, when it came to the top 10, she didn't make it to number 1. Number 1 went to Miss Indonesia. But Miss Cosmo International Zimbabwe, represented by Ruvimbo Njomboro. By the way, she was a second runner-up for Miss Universe Zimbabwe. So,
So just to understand, Miss Cosmo, is that like after the Cosmo, the magazine brand, or is this just a generic term? What's happening there?
I don't know what to tell you. But the winner of Miss Cosmo receives $100,000, a luxury phone, a high-end diamond jewelry set, a VIP healthcare package, a car, and a year's stay in a luxury apartment. So
wait, wait, no, stop. Time out.
Yeah.
Just run that list. Run that list by me one more again. Just one more time.
The prize list.
Please.
So the winner of Miss Cosmo International 2024, that's Miss Indonesia's Ketut Permata Tata Juliastrid. She won a prize package that included the following. The Impactful Crown.
Okay.
$100,000.
Yep.
A luxury phone.
Okay.
A high-end diamond jewelry set. A VIP healthcare package.
Okay.
A car. A year's stay in a luxury apartment. Accommodation at an international standard resort and golf course, along with numerous other valuable gifts and premium services.
So, this is the Janimbi package. What the hell are you guys talking about? Janimbi gave this to every bed in Harare. What are you saying?
I don't know, Phil. $100,000? That's a healthy. It's a healthy girlfriend allowance, is what I'm saying.
But all I'm saying, exactly. Dan, does this not sound like elevated sex work? Like, I'm not trying to.
Phil.
Dan, no.
Come on, it's a beauty pageant. The prize is $100,000.
Where's this apartment? Where's this apartment? Is this apartment in the country of your domicile, or does it have to be in a specific country?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm just reading the article in the Herald. That's not that. Okay. I take back what I said earlier. I don't actually follow beauty pageants. I don't think I've ever heard of Miss Cosmo International.
Because $100,000 apartment in Indonesia and Malaysia is a very different prospect to $100,000 apartment in South Africa. That's for sure.
No. She received $100,000.
And a stay in a luxury apartment. Yeah.
A stay in a luxury apartment.
Where is that luxury apartment? Who has the keys? I want to know who has all the copies of the keys to that apartment. That's what I want to know.
Millennium Heights, Phil. I don't know.
Better sleep with one eye open.
We celebrate you, Ruvimbo.
Change the locks.
Change
the locks. That's what I'm going to say. Change the locks the moment you get to that place. Change all the locks.
All right, Phil. Follow up from last week. There wasn't that much.
I was gonna say, Dan, there's some big news that might affect you, and also it falls in line with some of the stuff we were discussing earlier. I don't know if you read this article, Dan. Big changes for visas in South Africa. The Minister of Home Affairs, Leon Schreiber, has gazetted far-reaching reforms for South Africa's visa regime, gazetting the remote work visa and the new points-based system work visas. On 9 October, he said to remove the bureaucratic hurdles which have hampered South Africa's visa regime. In essence, if you earn more than $30,000 a year at your job, wherever you are in the world, South Africa is going to welcome you with open arms.
Including Zimbabweans.
If you earn more than $30,000 a year.
What if you earn 30,000 nema hustles, nema side deals?
You know, what about pay slip here?
Bank account, bank details.
As long as it's steady, you're sorted.
Yeah, well. Anyway, the other thing that we spoke about last week is we had a brief conversation about the dangerous parts of town. And someone said that, you know what? Everyone thinks these things. Someone said this on Twitter and they were like, people think these things, but they're supposed to be thoughts and not words. And you know what? I thought about it and I was like, you're right. You're right, because the person who has dated the red flag person and experience the consequences, they're telling themselves the same thing. So who am I to come and beat them with the same words that they're beating themselves with? So you know what? You're right. But still, just a reminder, you know what the dangerous part of town is. Don't go there without,
Just don't go.
I don't know, a strap on your side or something. Or just avoid going.
Wait, why do people need strap-ons? What are you doing in this part of town, Dad?
It's a really bad part of town, Phil. It's a really bad part of town. Anyway, there's a couple of things to talk about, Phil. So there's a conversation that has sort of been bubbling in the social media streets. And I don't know if it's my algorithm that is just breaking things up for me and making me see things a certain way. But there's a conversation about Zim Hip Hop that has just been happening for the past few weeks, maybe even months.
Is it a conversation or is it just Dennis being problematic?
Even if you block Dennis, I'm sure there's a few other people that are talking about it.
Oh, his
and
minions. Should we phone Dennis?
To be fair, no, we should phone only experts. To be fair, Zim Music. Now you're making it worse than it is. It's just a light tease. I'm not I'm not being really serious. Anyway, I would say in the last couple of years, Zim Hip Hop has definitely made a case for itself to be considered among the heavyweights of the discussion of Zimbabwean music. Something which has not always been the case. Even in the days of, for example, Few Kings or MMT, or even if you go further back to the days of Kingpin, while they always had their respect, they were never really recognized as heavyweights or A-list or this is what everyone is bumping to. It was always viewed as kind of a niche. A couple of songs may have had some crossover appeal, specifically songs like Junior Brown on them, etc. But in general, it was very niche. It was Masala Dai, One Way Hip Hop, which is always wild because Zim has always loved hip hop. Man, I remember the days of Alcatraz and all of that, and people repeating to themselves G-Unit and Lil Wayne and the love for American hip hop, and you would think that it would translate to Zimbabwean artists, but in general, apart from a few crossover hits, in general, hip hop wasn't really a big discussion in Zimbabwe, in the Zimbabwean music scene. But that's definitely different, and this is at least my opinion. I don't know if you agree with it. In the last 5-6 years, maybe. Even 5-6 years is too long. Maybe let's say 3-4 years. And there's certain artists, namely Holy 10, Volts JT, Saint Flo, artists like Baga, Takura to a certain extent, even though he's perhaps more leaning in the pop or Afro-pop side. These artists have really been considered A-list. While not Ja Praise and Winky D status, definitely at the level of some of the big dancehall acts. I mean, I would put Holy 10 and Volts JT at some of those levels, considering radio play, considering bookings at events and so on. So there has been over the past few years a serious discussion about, I would say, the big three: Holy 10, Volts JT, and Saint Flo. And in the past couple of weeks, there was a bit more of a discussion. We somewhat hinted on it when we spoke about this. I think just before we went on break, we talked about how Holy 10 was throwing shade at Volts JT. And then I do feel that at the moment, the hottest hip hop act in the country is Volts JT. Mm-hmm. And I think that is because of Holy 10's own fault, because Holy 10 could be the hottest in the country if he wasn't moving a bit funny. And Saint Flo just dropped... Excuse me. Saint Flo just dropped some new music. And I think today and yesterday, and probably in the coming days, there will be some discussion about these three artists. Saint Flo, Volts JT,
I'm going to the
Holy
album
10.
launch on Saturday then.
I am not doing so. Look, I don't know. Maybe if I get an invite into the VIP section, I'll let Mona Lisa there and see how far. But so this is what happened. Okay, today Saint Flo dropped 2 brand new songs. One is his feature with Questa, Bagra Jaman.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, big deal, international act, South African act at the very least. And then this coming weekend, Saint Flo is dropping his newest album. Now, you'll recall that we've spoken about Saint Flo before because we spoke about his signing a deal with Virgin a couple of weeks ago, I think is when we spoke about it. So that's the situation with Saint Flo. Meanwhile, Holy 10 had announced that he was going to be dropping his latest album, Proud Father. And 2 days ago, we got the information that he was going to be postponing his album release because it was supposed to be dropped this coming week. No, it was supposed to be dropped. No, it was supposed to be dropped this past weekend. And then now he's postponed it to allegedly the 21st of October. Album postponements happen all the time. But the big narrative that's been happening is that the reason Holy 10 postponed is because he didn't want to compete with Saint Flo's drop, which I think is very weird. Or rather that he wanted to wait for Saint Flo to drop first. Meanwhile, Volts JT has been on a tear. Biggest songs in the country. For example, he had his Master H feature on the song Danzi. Now One of Them, featuring Volts JT. He was also featured on Nutty O's joint. The name has just escaped me right now. What was that song, Philip? Oh my goodness. That Nutty O joint that had Volts JT on it.
I love watching you scroll.
Makuru one. That was I think, was that the beginning of this year or was that end of last year? I can't remember exactly. But anyway, he's been on a tear. He recently appeared on Makadzi's track. Which is a funny story because do you remember at some point a while ago, Makadzi posted that she was looking for Holy 10? And then a while later, she posted that she was looking for Volts JT, and then she released a song with Volts JT. And then Holy 10 came out and said, nah, the only reason she released that song with Volts JT is because she was trying to spite me because there's some beef going on. There's a lot of weirdness going on.
There's an interesting
anyway,
there's
this is
an
just a
interesting
very
pattern
brief...
emerging there. That
there's this very... It's a very brief painting of this entire story, which is not even that big a deal. Let me quote for you, according to H Metro, what Holy 10 said about his album postponement. So he said, so I was supposed to drop the album today, which was supposed to be on the 7th of October. But then I realized I'd overlooked a lot of things around the drop. The music is good, but I forgot to market the product. That's what he says. I ignored a lot of things that are important, like dropping the track list and going for interviews. So he says, I've delayed the release for 2 weeks so that I can properly market the album.
Oh, we're not laughing at Holy 10, we're just laughing at his comment. That's
So then he was asked, some people have said that you're delaying the release because you're waiting on Saint Flo's release first. And he says, no. His response to that sort of like conversation was that I'm getting compared to artists that are not in my league. He says, I'm not dropping a street album. I'm waiting to do the right thing first. Trust me, the project is solid, etc., etc. So that's a story with Holy 10. Anyway, maybe let's start by, can we sample this new Saint Flo song, Phil?
Sure. You want me to play it since you have problems?
Yes, please.
on your end?
Please. I mean, I could play it, but you can go ahead.
Yeah, let me actually check. Well, let's do a live thing because I watched the video. I did not see if it's on the streamings. It should be on the streamings because it's now being distributed by Virgin. Remember, mega deal.
Mega deals. Is it not? You know what, Phil?
Hold on. Let me see if content.
No, wait.
No?
No. Phil,
What?
YouTube Music counts as a streaming platform. So,
No, it doesn't.
you know, this narrative that you guys are pushing, I don't like it. YouTube Music is also a DSP. Where are you looking? Are you looking on Apple Music? Let me look on Spotify.
No, on Spotify. So it's obviously going to be on YouTube Music, but this is wild. Like, what? So, what is he doing? Oh my gosh.
I don't have it here.
Oh my gosh.
Is it not on Spotify? Phil. What? Phil, you're joking. You're joking. There's no way it's not on Spotify.
It's not. YouTube Music. I can only play it at the video.
Shift when I say so. Business, payroll, Cuesta, Saint Flo.
Nas my coins edo pasar pa corners. Sha into the big sera jaman. Marindo the big sera jaman. My stripes e colors fulazi matching nigga ataya mtonazi imemad. Into the big sera jaman. Marindo the big sera jaman. Into the big sera jaman. Marindo the big sera jaman. Ndo the big sera jaman, marindo the big sera jaman.
Exea sit ges kupugen, sponsors and a drip matisembulin.
So, for those of you that haven't watched the video yet, we've got a song with Questa. Questa doing his signature laid back flow with his rusty voice.
Give that man a holes and his career's over.
He's in the Lokshin. In the Lokshin there, and there's a red gusheshe, and he's rapping over a song with a slowed down house beat. Stop me if you've heard this formula before, Dan.
I don't care. So I don't care about that. I don't care if it's something that someone else has done. I just care if I like it or not.
No, something that he's done.
I was saying I don't care if it's something that someone else has done with Questa. Or that Questa has done before. You know what? If it's not broke, don't fix it. If you can replicate the success you had before, or like, I don't really care that much about it. I just care about how I feel. I'm listening to the song. So I said this in our Patreon group because we were discussing our thoughts about it. So I didn't say it's not trash. I don't hate it. But I said in the Patreon group that this is it's not bars. Saint Flo is not dropping bars. Questa's, he's aight. But Saint Flo is not dropping bars. He's not dropping lyricism of some kind. Neither is this it's not a club joint. It's not a party joint. This is not something that's going to pop off on radio. It's not some radio play kind of joint. It's not something that you would play at a concert. It's not something he's going to drop when he's on an arena. I can't tell what it's supposed to be. It's nothing. It's not in any of the categories I know. I listen to it and I almost immediately forget about it. So I don't hate it. It's not bad to me. It's just not amazing. That was my thought. That was my take on it.
So I was gonna say, and also people were discussing this in the Patreon group, and I think it was because they had commented that Saint Flo's dropped too many singles from the album, and that's the strategy. You want to drop as many singles as you can because this is a single-driven market, and the reason Saint Flo is signing to Virgin. It's not so that he can continue to dominate Zim. It's so he can expand beyond them. The reason he's collaborating with Questa and shooting a video in South Africa is not so that he can cement his position in Zimbabwe. It's so he can expand beyond Zimbabwe. And the best way to expand beyond Zimbabwe is experimenting with new sounds and experimenting with whatever singles are resonating with people. So I don't have a problem with that. Even when you speak of this would work because it's going to fit into a nice BPM range for hip hop, especially drill. It's going to fit into a nice BPM range for piano. It's going to fit into a nice BPM range for house. And the people that recognize the original house sample are also going to use that for blends and mixes and so forth, if it is done right. So I don't really have a problem with that.
Are they going to do that, Phil? Are they?
The formula is there for them to replicate. So it's now
are Zim DJs going to do it or are SA DJs going to do it?
If they're doing it properly, the label should be plugging with SA DJs then.
But that's what I'm asking. Like, are they? Do you see this dropping in Joburg or in Durban?
Once again, it now depends on the budget. Early signs point early signs point that the budget might not necessarily be where it needs to be, but it's a good introductory song. So if you drop this, then you drop another one in a similar ilk, and then by the third one, you figure out, okay, this is how it works. This is the distribution channels. These are the DJs we need to plug with, etc, etc. Then yeah, it'll make sense. And if I was working with them, I'd advise them, you know what, let's drop it, but let's not spend too much on it. Let's seed it at like campus radio. Let's seed it especially with students on student radio. Let's seed it at these events for students because those are cheaper ways to penetrate. See if they're taking to it, and if they do, then we double down. If they don't, we'll move on to something else.
So Phil, I understand the marketing angle that you're speaking about. My question is, do you see the average South African or the South African student or whatever making a TikTok to this joint? Do you see a DJ at Konka or wherever dropping this joint in their
but you asked that question and the answer is simply money, Dan. For TikTok videos to be made, you pay the dancers to do dances to the songs. Here's a little secret, guys. A lot of your favorite trends started off as paid campaigns. Same thing with DJs. Granted, Konka's closed now, but even DJs, you have to build a relationship with them. You have to pay them off somewhere, somehow. Maybe even if it's their hospitality writer. And when you pitch up to the club and you hand them that flash with a new song, they'll be like, all right, cool, let me see what I can fit this into my set.
Okay, so while that may be the case to start, and it's true, you may pay, fine, you're going to pay 3, 5, 10 influencers to make dance videos to this song. My question to you is, the people who are not paid, are they going to follow this trend? Are they going to play this song specifically?
If it's cool, Dan, and that's the thing.
I'm not saying if it's cool. I'm saying this song that you heard, the song that you listened to.
Dan, you're asking a question. You're asking me to reinforce a personal opinion, right? My personal opinion.
That's
no.
Mm-hmm.
There's my opinion, and you're asking me to predict the future. Predicting the future has variables in place, and I'm trying to say the variable here is you can literally make anything can pop off if you put enough money behind it.
I think a lot of things can pop off if you put enough money behind it, but not anything. A lot of things can pop off. There's a lot of things that popped off that you're like, damn, how did this get here? But it was money put behind it. But it's not everything. It's not every single thing. That's why there's still a lot of R&D that goes on behind whatever is going to be.
Which is why Same Flow has now dropped 3 singles. Well, actually, if you consider My Bona, maybe 4, because My Bona might be on this project as well. So 4 singles.
So I'm counting. I just took a quick look at his, because his DSPs are all over the place. But I took a quick look at his YouTube. 8 months ago, he dropped Bipolar. 4 months ago, he dropped Urukukwata Ere. And then in the past 2 weeks, he's dropped Margarita, Makuruku. Then today, Ginsa and Begra Jaman with Questa. So that's 6 songs. Then before that is his last album. A year ago. Yeah. So 6 singles. I don't know if Bipolar is going to be on this album. I assume it's going to be. It's his biggest song of the past couple of years, maybe. Or over the last year, let's say. So, okay. Outside of the discussion about marketing and money being put behind it, I'm just talking about my personal opinion of this song. It somewhat reminds me of, I think it was Volts, JT, and MT. You landed a big South African feature. And it was a very forgettable song. I feel like this is the same. And again, maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe I haven't caught the wave and so on. But my initial assessment of listening to the song and watching the video's, it's cool. You know what I mean? It's pretty cool and it's vibey. But I don't see... 3 weeks from now, 2 months from now, I feel like it's going to be we'll have moved on from this. And it won't have really made that much of a dent. That's my feel. So that's what I am asking you to predict based on your experience and your knowledge and you being inside the game.
But I was trying to separate the professional from the personal. My personal opinion is not the one.
Yeah. And again, I don't want to say it was trash. It's not trash. Like, I'm listening to it. I'm like, okay, the beat has kind of got a thing to it. Okay. Questa sounds really good on it, but
it's also, I don't know how you have a collab, but somehow you guys managed to do an also ran for both of you. It sounds exactly like the type of song that Questa's been making for years. And somehow simultaneously also sounds like the exact same flow Saint has been dropping for years. Like that it's the same thing as Bipolar. It's the same formula as the My Bona hook. Literally the same cadence, exact same cadence. If it's for a new audience, I understand. But is like you saying, is this the type of song that's going to capture the attention of a new audience? I'm not too sure. Because he's writing.
I don't think so.
He's writing the beats and he's doing it well because he's very talented in that respect. But is this gonna make Sfiso from Zone 7 be like, which one is this one now? Which one is this one? I don't think so. But we could be proven wrong. And obviously, we've got lots of friends over there, Nash TV. So, wishing them all the best.
Yeah. Please, this is we're trying to keep it positive here. So we're not trying to just, there's a lot of work that goes into all of this. So I'm not trying to just bash the work that goes into it. I'm just saying my initial feelings about this is that I don't think it's the one. And it's not trash, but it's just not really the one. It's just, So I don't know what this is going to mean for the rest of his album. You said earlier when we were talking about it that the hottest rapper in the game right now is Volts JT. So in your feeling of the big three, Zim's big three, and I assume the big three is Volts, Holy 10, and Saint Flow. To you, it's definitely Volts at the moment.
In terms of rapping, yeah. Saint Flow is a weird thing. I think Saint Flow, maybe to a certain degree, is kind of like a Drake. He's more poppy. He does, he can rap, but he makes a lot of crossover music. Even Silas Mawende wasn't really strictly hip hop. You know what I mean? He was rapping on it, but it was more poppy. I would definitely say he's up there. I think obviously, with the numbers coming back from the show, I think Saint Flow will definitely do great numbers. Let's predict. How many tickets do you think he's going to sell for this launch?
You know what? I would want to see, because this is not the first album launch he's done. I'm struggling to see what I can use to sort of gauge this. You know what? Freeman also has an album launch this month. The week after, I think it's the week after Saint Flow, or maybe it's 2 weeks after.
But Freeman is doing pretty much a damn near a whole concert with a full lineup.
So is Saint Flow. Saint Flow is bringing Questa, and he's got a full lineup, full concert, full lineup. Let me see if I can find the full lineup for Saint Flow's Ting. Saint Flow's Ting a Ting.
I'm there. So
and
it's Volts, Master H, Chill Sports, Tammy Moyo, Silent Killer, Michael Maggs, Nisha T. Then we've got Blot, Merciless, Man 9, MC Tats, 90G, Gali, Atipere, Chief Ben, Pretty Gangster, King Her. Remember Gali? Gali's that dude that we saw at the cricket, and then we bumped into at the off party, and I was like, yo, my man, where is it? You're always everywhere. That's Gali.
So anyway, I'll be keen to see how people react to this. And Saint Flow does. I mean, he's got a lot of
for $10 in this economy. Schools are about to close. I think he's gonna do maybe 7,000, 7,000 to 8,000.
By the way, Saint Flow is booked and busy this month. He's also at the Castle Braai Fest, which is happening the following weekend, alongside Winky D, Kamompela, and Master H. And then he's also just coming from performing at, I think it was the Jacaranda Music Festival. I can't remember exactly now. Anyway, I think of the big three. Saint Flow is number 3. I think Volts JT and Holy 10 at different times exchange at number 1. I think Holy 10 has enough of momentum behind him to keep him at number 1 if it wasn't for his weird antics and recently seeming to struggle to... Holy 10 has fire features. Song featuring Holy 10, it's going to get super successful. But his own song releases at the moment haven't really had the impact, I think, recently as they have in the past. Let me just take a quick look at his most recent run of his own songs, like I did for Saint Flow, which since Bipolar hasn't been that hot, by the way. Holy 10, his most recent run. 1 month ago, he did Gamu Part 2. Didn't hit that hard. He did Madafela, which was a big tune featuring Jake Miles and Mr. Candy. So it was quite the hit. You know the song, right, Phil? Let me drop it for you real quick.
Dafela, you better. Oh,
Pera mata fela Achita itoda pita yangu melas Na ine ndaga uza na tete Mbame ndaga futa mikete Manawe kwa mwerewe kwa seke Uyo ndaite.
That's just so you know. That's just so you know which song that is. So that was a big tune. It had a lot of play on radio, and it plays at the parties, and the DJs drop it, etc. Before that was what Zinga Ushe 5 months ago. Didn't make any waves. Very Tight by Holy 10 also didn't make any waves. So since his album drop, I think the only song that has made waves is his collaboration with his missus. I think there were 2 songs, Banga and Totokuda. And apart from that, recently it's been not that much when it's his own songs. Meanwhile, Volts JT. Like I mentioned, Volts JT has been on a tear recently. And his most recent drops, and I'm not talking features, talking about his own songs. He just dropped Garanchawia with Nyasha David. Big tune, dropped 2 weeks ago. Inebasare featuring Baga also dropped 3 weeks ago. Also, big tune. And, I mean, he also dropped his album, right? NOP Makoni. So those are 2 videos he dropped from NOP Makoni. And that was received very well, at least as far as I know. Kutidzorera Mashure, big tune. Mawovets, huge tune. So... And then, of course, there was Mukoma Brian 8 months ago. So I think at the moment, Volts JT is sitting at the top. I would put Holy 10 at number 2 and then Saint Flo. Saint Flo has also had quite a hot features run. I guess we're going to pay attention and see how things go. Let's see with Saint Flo's album launch happening this weekend. And then let's see with Holy 10 dropping his album 2 weeks from now. So let's see what's going to happen with those ones. Any other thoughts, Philip, before we move on?
No, I'm cool. I'm just looking to see you out on Saturday, man. We got to be out on these streets, you know what I'm saying? Got to touch base. See what's
It's not fair. I didn't go to Volt's album launch. How can I go to St. Flo's? It's not fair.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Mona Lisa, hit me up. Drop me a VIP ticket, and then maybe we'll see what happens.
After you mice drain, you're a bastard.
Ish, that was bad. It wasn't. It was not like that. It was not like that. Couple of things to talk about, Phil. Tell me about this issue of artists releasing music on Instagram. It's something you want to talk about. Why?
Because Warner just announced that they've struck a deal with Meta for music distribution, and a few weeks ago, Universal announced a similar deal. Granted, the terms of these deals are yet to be disclosed, but I found it very interesting because it's coinciding with, I don't know if you noticed, while this Drake and Kendrick beef was going on, a lot of music started being dropped on Instagram first. And in some instances, Instagram only. And J. Cole, who just dropped his song, the Port Albert song. No, sorry, Port Albion. Is it Port Albion? Port Albert.
Yeah, but he dropped it. He may have announced it or dropped it first on Instagram, but he's dropped it everywhere. Well, he's dropped it on YouTube, rather.
The full song is also on thing. Port Antonio, sorry. The full song is also in full on Instagram, which I find interesting and I don't believe is a coincidence. Drake, when he was doing his 100 gigs drops, first and foremost, they were dropping on Instagram in full. Obviously, Meet the Grahams dropped on Instagram. The Air Force freestyles, the Untitled freestyle that Kendrick dropped. Some people call it Watch the Party Die. I call it the 9/11 freestyle. Dropped on Instagram in full. Even the remake to the Kendrick song on the Drake album, Jeez Louise, what is it called again? Where Drake was mocking the Kendrick version. He dropped it on Instagram, then he deleted it, obviously, after Meet the Grams. But I think there's a lot happening with regards to that. And the way music is being dropped and being distributed is changing. At the same time, record labels are eating themselves, pretty much. We saw what's going on with Warner Music. Atlantic fired most of its staff, and then Lucian Grain's son became the head of Atlantic, which is interesting because I've never heard of that in my life. Like, Can you imagine like Strive Masiwa's son being hired to run Net One while Strive Masiwa is still running Econet?
I mean, I guess it tells you what's going on behind the scenes. There's stuff going on. Okay,
So it's insane.
so I'm hearing your guan about artists dropping on Instagram, but that doesn't, like, I understand from a beef track perspective, because the idea is it's spectacle. So you're dropping the beef track on Instagram. It's not cleared. Maybe whatever it is that stops you from actually releasing it as a song.
These songs are clear. So keep in mind, like, Meet the Gram.
I don't know. I'm talking about the ones before, right? So like, the idea that during the beef, that's what artists were doing, or sometimes artists do it. I understand for spectacle, but I don't think anyone listens to music on Instagram. Do you get what I mean? Like, no one, like, oh, I want to listen to music, or I want to play music in the car. Let me open Instagram.
But that's not the point, Dan. What's
the point?
When you're introducing a new medium, if it's new, that means the consumer behavior is not adapted to that format yet. So when Spotify was signing licensing deals with record labels were like, no one is listening on Spotify, so it's fine. Until people started listening on Spotify, then they're like, okay, we need to renegotiate these deals.
The difference was Spotify was made as a platform to listen to music. So it makes sense because you can minimize the app. You can do other things while music is playing. You can be sitting in your car and put your phone, turn on the Google Maps on your phone.
I forwarded you an email, for example. Right now, what can you do on Spotify? Is Spotify just for music now?
Phil, that's a completely different argument. My point is, here's what I'm saying.
My argument is Spotify is now a media consumption app. Spotify gives you music, it gives you podcasts in both audio and video, and it gives you audiobooks. The same thing with Instagram. Instagram is a media consumption app. It gives you videos and it syncs those videos with music.
It's a very reductive argument because Spotify makes sense to do podcasts. It makes sense to do audiobooks.
I think we're not arguing on the same level. You're not arguing.
Yes.
So the reason I'm arguing. I'm arguing from the standpoint
you're not hearing me out. Hear me out. What you said is these record labels have signed a deal with Meta to release music on Instagram. And in part of your discussion about why this probably makes sense is artists have dropped on Instagram, for example, during the beef.
You're doing it the wrong way around. That's what I'm saying. Like, you misunderstood. It's the other way around. These deals were secured before this. This is a new phenomenon. Full songs being released almost either exclusively or in a windowed period on Instagram. They were announced shortly after this. And then for anyone who's watching, it's like, oh, so this was the dummy run. And it's not a coincidence that Universal announced it first, and 2 weeks prior, the artists that were going back and forth both had dealings with Universal, which is Drake and Kendrick. So I was like, oh, this is interesting. This might have been a test run to see how the viability of dropping music this way. And it seems to be doing well. Because the 9/11 freestyle has also been dropped there. J. Cole did the same thing. So now a trend has been established. So you might drop the music on Instagram just to establish or just to announce. So instead of snippet, watch video on YouTube like what normally used to happen, people are like, no, it's fine. Just put the full version here. And if you want, you can go to YouTube or you can go to Spotify to listen to it, but the full version is here. And the full version will remain here because now I'm monetizing the full version as opposed to just monetizing the 15-second clip that you're going to use in your stories or your Instagram reels. And that's what I'm saying. There's a change in the behavior in which artists are posting their music on Instagram.
How many times are you going to listen to a new drop on Instagram?
That's not the point.
Just once.
Dan. But even that one listen, full length, clearly they're doing it because there's an incentive to do so. So when Instagram first started, remember when they started Instagram TV? Or when they started Reels and they were trying to compete with TikTok? They had a creator program where they would pay people to use this new medium or this new service or this new feature to drive uptick. So I don't think it's beyond the realm of possibility that behind the scenes, Instagram is kicking back these record labels and distributors money to say, yo, put the full song on Instagram first. We'll throw you something.
I hear that. And I still feel like ultimately it's not going to work. I still feel like it's mixing media, and it's not fully. Again, this is my opinion as someone who's not looking at all this detailed information that Zuckerberg's team obviously has, access to. This is just my gut feeling off of my first instinct on hearing the reaction to this. I can't see people consuming music on Instagram apart from specific spectacles. I can't see it being a normal sort of, my favorite artist is not even my favorite artist, an artist that I follow is my favorite artist, sure, but an artist that I follow is dropping a new song. It's on Instagram. I don't know. Let's see how it works. But while we're in the realm of tech, Phil, I want to share with you some bad news.
Don't break my heart.
So a couple of months ago, we spoke about a situation that happened with Disney, where, if you recall, someone was visiting a couple were visiting Disney World Disney World, and there was a fatal allergic reaction to a meal that this man bought while he was at Disney World, and the widow of this man wanted to sue Disney and say, listen, you promised me that there would be no allergens in this meal. My husband took this meal, ate it, and died. So we're now suing Disney. And there was this whole situation that came up where the lawyers were arguing that no, a couple of years ago, when you signed up to Disney Plus, you clicked accept. You didn't read on that entire user agreement that you clicked accept on. It mentions that you will not sue Disney. So sorry, you can't sue us. And it caused a public outcry. And then Disney withdrew that countersuit. And I actually don't know how it ended up. But basically, long story short, the story was most of these companies or rather in that case, Disney wanted to say, you can't take us to court. If you have a problem with us, you have to meet with us in arbitration. And then obviously in arbitration, they can then decide what it is that they want to do, with the might of Disney. Anyway, something similar recently has happened with Uber. So let me tell you what the story is. So there was an elderly couple. They called an Uber on their app. They hopped into this Uber, and the Uber driver ran a red light and got into an accident. And this accident was very severe. It caused injuries to this couple. Very severe injuries that meant they had to go to hospital. One of them was basically under severe medical treatment for a year. It was very bad injuries. Now, their insurance, the motor insurance wouldn't cover them because they were not driving. They were in the passenger seat. And two, they had problems with their medical insurance as well because, actually, I don't even know what the reasons were. There's some stories about them having problems with this insurance. They lost, some of them lost work. It was a difficult situation. So they went forward and they sued Uber. And they were like, listen, we took your ride and we got into an accident due to the negligence of one of your drivers. Uber responded by saying, actually, 3 different times you clicked accept on a user agreement when you were using Uber Eats. So because you clicked accept, part of that agreement says that you will not sue Uber. And the court actually ruled, well, that's kind of true. And then the couple said, no, we're not the ones who clicked accept. First of all, it's our daughter, our minor daughter under 18, who was ordering Uber Eats. And she clicked yes, accept, as we all do whenever we sign up to any of these apps. And that shouldn't be valid. Also, that's Uber Eats. That's completely different to Uber Ride. And as it stands now, the court was like, yeah, no, sorry, you clicked accept, so you can't sue Uber. So now this has been picked up by the media, and last week it was being reported, and it's a whole situation. So now Uber is saying the only way you can handle this is arbitration. If you have an issue, then you got to come to us, and we set up an arbitration arrangement. So we really have entered this dystopian future that we were afraid of, Phil. First it was Disney, now Uber. All those times just clicking accept. And you know what's going to happen, Phil? What's going to happen is these huge companies that are worth hundreds of millions of dollars. I saw a description of OpenAI's valuation after its recent round of raising money, and it was multiple billions, and it was more than several companies that have existed for years. So these tech companies that own so much and are tied to so much of our lives, every time you click accept, Every time you just click agree without reading that user agreement. Even if you read it, what? Are you going to refuse and not agree to that app? Each time you click agree, you are signing another part of your life away. You click agree on Disney Plus because you want to watch that new Marvel movie. Well, now you can't sue if something bad happens to you when you go to Disney parks. You click agree because you want to order Uber Eats. Now, if you order an Uber and get into an accident, you can't sue. What else?
This is the strongest argument for piracy I've heard in a while.
Yeah,
because
I didn't need an argument, but thanks for
Pirate
giving money
Bay has
anyway.
never denied me any of my rights. That's what I'm saying.
Also, who will you sue? As your tech ombudsman, there's no point in me saying be careful of what you click agree on. Because if you want to use the app, you're going to click agree. It is what it is. I mean,
but yeah,
it is what it is.
But so I forget what the statute is. In school, there used to be this thing. Dang it, I'm sure a lawyer will remember. There's what they call contracts that even so. Say for example, if you and I sign a contract, and the contract states that by signing this contract, you'll allow me to eat your first baby. Even if it's a contract, if what's stated in the contract goes against law, then that point is null and void in the contract. And it's one of the ways that is used to protect artists, creators, but just in general, just the workforce in general. Like for example, if you sign with an employer, and the employer says like legally you have to work 96 hours a week, but the law states the maximum you can work is 40 hours, 40 regular hours every week, then whatever they made you sign is now null and void. We revert back to the law. Now, obviously, that's Commonwealth law. That is not American law. And I'm sure an American lawyer can chime in. I am surprised that these morality clauses are not being triggered by these courts to say, you know what, just because you clicked agree does not supersede established case law or established laws on the books. So does this mean Americans had no rights to begin with? Like,
I don't. So let me give you some of the details. So the issue was, when they clicked agree in that terms of service user agreement, whatever it is, there's a section in Uber Eats where it says that all disputes concerning auto accidents or personal injuries will be resolved through binding arbitration and not in a court of law. So when their minor daughter under 18 years old clicked accept, agree, part of that included any issues that you may have. I mean, it's not. I don't think it goes against law. It's, hey, there was an accident. So this company's, I mean, this couple is saying we want to sue the company because we got in an accident due to the negligence of the driver. So they're going to say, no, you can't sue the company because you clicked that I will not sue the company. I think that might apply even in Commonwealth law. Then again, I'm not a lawyer. We'll have to hear from people who know the law. The law. But consider that your tech ombudsman section, and just a chilling reminder of where we are in the stream of time, and that, you know, everything is good, hunky-dory, and companies are great.
It's all fine. It's all fine. It's that meme of the dog in the kitchen. Everything is fine.
Tell me about Davido versus Wizkid, Phil. I saw them fighting each other on the Twitters.
I don't know what's going on with Wizkid, bro. Someone needs to take his phone away. All I'll say is that someone needs to take his phone away. Like, what are we doing here? Like, it's like we're in 2017 again. What's happening?
Every time I see any famous person wilding online, I always jump to the same conclusion, which I will not say because I don't want to get sued. But I mean, guys, come on.
What?
Come on.
What?
I mean, come on, guys.
I don't know. What are you saying? Give me a clue. Let's play charades.
I mean,
let's play charades. First word. Movie. Book. What? Wait, did you just fart?
Just clearing my... No, I was just clearing my nose there. I felt to really inhale. There might be some powders on this microphone. Anyway, let's move on. Phil, I came across
push it to the limit
past week. Woo!
Hey.
British YouTuber and rapper Young Philly.
Why did he have to have that name? Why did he have to have that name, bro? Jesus.
Was just arrested. This news actually broke today when we were recording. A couple of hours ago, actually.
They took no time. They took no time to start gathering shady receipts. Like, yo, do people list have like a folder, like the downfall folder, and they're like, how once this guy catches slipping, I'm unleashing. Fam, they found interviews from like 10 years ago. Like, yeah, you see, I was just like, yay.
So Young Philly is a very popular YouTuber, podcaster, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. I don't really know him like that. I don't watch his videos, but I've seen him here and there.
Him and Chunks were kind of funny. They do a lot. I'm surprised you don't watch them because they do a lot of football stuff as well. I think actually Chunks is Arsenal.
I don't watch Arsenal videos apart from highlights. But anyway, Young Philly was currently in the middle of a tour of Australia. This is how you know it's bad, because he was in a whole other country. And he was arrested in Brisbane on Tuesday, extradited back to Perth, because apparently when he was in Perth, he apparently sexually assaulted a woman in his Perth hotel. The details are quite harrowing, involving violence. And the moment that this news broke, like Phil said, everyone started bringing out all the things that he said. And I saw a video of him with Speed where he was trying to teach him how to choke someone. And it's just a lot of very shady stuff. The reason I bring it up, Phil, this is sometimes I feel embarrassed to be a podcaster.
It's been a tough few months. Dan, the two-man podcast is under fire. The two-man podcast.
It doesn't have a very positive, it doesn't have positive PR at the moment.
The two-man podcast is down bad, Dan, and we're hanging on by a thread. I don't know if we're going to make it. I think, you know what? I need to sit down and actually just think, like, what is in my closet? Like, I need to make sure there's nothing there. Dan, have you cleansed your closet? Like, maybe have some uncomfortable conversations with the wifey. Let's clear the air. But also, you know, I think we're okay in the fact that we're not assaulting anyone. You know, I think that's a good start. We haven't laughed at black women. I don't think we've made light of black women. We love black women.
No, but no, Phil. The problem, I think the big problem that we have in life is that no one tells black women when they're losers. And there needs to be
Phil Chad disagreed with this podcast. So Phil Chad is ending. Goodbye. Dan, you're on your own. See you later.
That's a joke, ladies. Obviously, mad love for y'all. Mad love for y'all, black women. Daddy, that guy loves you. Although it's kind of, Phil, are you moving around in boxer shorts? Phil has really left the building. Phil really walked out. Well, you know what? This is great because I was trying to signal him to end the podcast because I'm now tired. Give him a few minutes, see if he comes back. Hey, y'all really scared Phil like that, huh? Women, why are you doing this? Why are y'all scaring Phil like this? La di da da da. He has returned. Okay, here we go. And furthermore, black women think that they run the world because they seem to have found power in social media in some way. And I want to remind y'all. Welcome back, Phil.
Have you found sense?
Phil. What would Shadiah say?
I don't follow that nigga. I don't know.
Woo! Anyway, no, we are right. We are not that type of podcast. We are not looking for controversy. Controversy. If anything, is just jokes that might not land well. You know what I'm saying? And that's okay. We can take the heat for that. Small. But anyway, the reason why I was saying my feeling about podcasts, when I opened my Twitter this morning, the first thing in my feed was a clip of the Flagrant podcast. And apparently they had Donald Trump on.
Wait, what?
And just in that moment, yeah, they had
No,
have a long.
No, now I have to see this. What?
It's a 2-hour episode of the Flagrant podcast where Andrew Schultz is.
Cool. Why didn't we should have flamed those people that were like, we support you. So like, but we warned you guys, this guy's a MAGA.
Trump was on Flagrant. On Trump, I just don't think he's a good president. Over the last week, I have to, when we talk about funny or sad, I think it's more sad than funny. Yeah. He has one ability I don't have. Yeah. He sleeps. He can sleep. This guy goes on a beach and he lays down on one of those, 6 ounce, they weigh 6 ounces and you can't lift it. Yeah. They're meant for children. Yeah. Young people and old people
Phil,
to lift.
watch this later, please.
Aluminum,
please watch this later.
Yeah. They weigh very little.
This is wild.
So my point is, I feel embarrassed to be a podcaster.
I think we should take a break. Dad, I think what we need to do, I think we need to bring back. Remember when we first started the podcast? We do those long comedic blog posts. I think let's go back to those for a bit.
Yes, Phil. I think you're right. The future is definitely blog posts. That's what the future of media is.
The future is definitely newsletter. Just to show ourselves as authoritarian, and then we'll cross post to LinkedIn. You know what I mean? Just to give us an air of authority.
Should we do some vlogs as well? Yeah, you're right. We should do some vlogs, and then what we can also do, Phil, is we can start working with influencers, because that's the future of media. Future of media. Anyway, I do feel some embarrassment sometimes because, look, the podcasting community is not in a great space. And when I read this whole Young Philly story, I was like, yeah, things are not great. Things are not good.
Also, why do they always do? By now they should know Australia don't play about SA cases, bro. Australia do not play.
But also he's been moving weird, man. Based on all the clips that I've seen. Hey, listen, Phil, I think we need to scrub. I need to go back and see if there's any clips floating around of weird things that we may have said.
You're the one that's posting them, bastard. You're setting us up. Delete everything.
But these, Phil.
Why are we even on TikTok? Delete that TikTok. Delete the TikTok.
These are mild things that, no one in their right mind would consider as anything cancelable. I mean, come on. We are approaching the end of this podcast, Phil, but just one thing that I wanted to speak about, and you know what? I will allow us to get into our Hotep bag. So let me just drop it. Let me just play it for us and get into it, okay? So, Phil, as you know, Zimbabwe gained its independence from Britain in 1980. In fact, many countries have gained their independence from Britain. But did you know that the last British colony only gave up its independence last week?
Yes, I did, actually.
I was very surprised to hear this. I was very concerned. Let me read for you the story. The United Kingdom has announced that it is giving up sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius in a deal that will secure the future of a key US military base, blah, 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 blah. The deal, announced jointly by the UK and Mauritius on Thursday, grants the latter full sovereignty over the remote archipelago. Do you remember the club? Archipelago! guaranteeing the operation of the United States base, da-da-da-da. So this seems like a very innocuous story. Until I saw someone mention this, that, oh yeah, snap, this was the last colony of the UK. I was like, wait. So there was still a colony. Not Commonwealth, still a colony. Yes, there was a group of islands that were still operating as a British colony up until last week.
Do you remember when Vibes Cartel appealed his court case? Where did it end up?
That's different, Phil.
No, it's the same.
Jamaica is not still a colony.
No. But
it's obviously still influenced.
Where did the case end up? Who decided to free Vibes? Tell me.
The UK obviously still has a lot of influence over Jamaica, but you wouldn't consider it still a colony.
But then, you're skipping over. How can you consider a nation to be a sovereign nation when your Supreme Court isn't even in your own nation? How is that sovereign? Dan, are you a sovereign person if you have guans and then you're like, you know what? Actually, let me ask my daddy. Dad, can I do this?
That the questions then have to be raised on the country itself, which is different to you're still a colony. Aye. You know, I heard this and I was like, wait, what? I thought we was done with this. Apparently not. Anyway, now we seem to be done with it. I sincerely hope that we do not have a situation appear where this happens one more again. No ways. Please. And Phil, the last thing that I want to share with you before we start doing our wrapping up is this.
Yo, it was crazy. So, me and the homie, right, we came to the corner, and then the next thing, we see safeguard car parked.
What you're hearing is a news report.
It was crazy, bro. It was crazy. These are...
Okay, quick background. Last week, we touched on it. There was a big bank robbery that happened in Bulawayo, EcoBank. $4 million was stolen. ZTN Prime was on the ground, and their journalists interviewed an eyewitness. And this is what he said.
Yo, it was crazy. So, me and the homie, right, we came to the corner, and then the next thing, we see safeguard car parked right in front of the bank. Like, right in front of the bank on the pavement. I'm thinking, whoa, bro, what's happening here? The next thing, we see a Ford Ranger parked in front of the car, and gang niggas with like baklava's and stuff. And then they pull up. I had an Uzi pointed at me right in my face for 1 second, and I jumped out the way. And I thought, this is looking tricky. The next thing, so many people flooded over here, and then now there's a whole lot of mess going on with the robbery, right? Because they're trying to lift safes into the back of a truck. Crazy. The next thing, me and the boy, we run, we flee all the way across the road. We get to the road and we're like, okay, cool. So let's take a video. I took a video, but that stuff was crazy. They loaded the safes, I think like 4 of them, and then they just dipped. And that was that. Crazy.
If you're playing Chinigga Bingo at home, your Chinigga Bingo card should be ringing for Brazy, nigga. Oh,
gang. Hey, shout out my man's. His name was Larry, I believe. Larry something.
Larry
Let me just
Hoover.
take a look at his. Larry. They had his name in the lower third. Larry Ndlovu. Yo, this is how I want to hear my news reports. This is what I want to hear.
Which one's even crib in Uramba, bruh?
Ooh, the F cribs and Fungwe, dog. Hey, man, that was hilarious. Yo, anyway, that's all I got. That's all I have, Phil. I've exhausted our talking points. I don't know if there's anything else you want to talk about.
Nah, man, I think we're good. I mean, this is all dope music. Shout out to K-Flow. That project is nice. Toink. It's a toink.
Hey, K-Flow, yo. Nah, shout out to K-Flow, yo. Shout out to his new project. I especially love that joint with Takura. Tune, Bree, tune. I haven't listened to the entire project. I think I listened to 4 songs out of the project. I need to go back and listen to it. But everything I'm hearing so far, I really like.
I think the project only has 5, so you've done most of the listening.
Great. Are you sure it's not more than that? I'm pretty sure I saw more than that available. Maybe it was remixes and bonuses and whatnot. So maybe we end with that new K flow.
Yes, do.
Ooh.
Man.
Wait, Phil, I want you to listen to this. Okay, I need to hear before I tell you who it is. I want you to let me know if you feel this is fire or not, because when I heard it, I was like, yo, I'm feeling some kind of surprise here. So wait, let me turn on original audio. Let me know what you think of this.
Yeah. Before I tell you goodnight, yeah. There is a secret I'm keeping, a piece of me that's been on my mind. Yeah. It's getting harder to fight. The urge to tell you those words that often led to so many lonely nights. Darling, no, this ain't one of those times. This is about what you mean to me, revealing the realest parts of me to you. I looked above for a sign to find the refuge I seem to never get to until you look in my eyes. Tell me, where would you go if I let you know you are the one for me? You are the one for me. Darling, here would you stay if I let you lay here right next to me? Here right next to me. I wanna know what you see.
What do you think about that, Phil? What do you think about that song?
Is that the new issue?
Yeah.
Nice vibe.
I like it, man. I heard it. I was like, yo, wait, this is actually pretty dope. But yeah, anyway, let's drop that new K flow. Not this one. Not Tariro, which is obviously the other big joint of his album. But let's drop that new K flow and Takura called Gede.
Nice.
At the end of this podcast. And once again, just to remind y'all, thank you very much for tuning in, and we would appreciate your support. twobroketwimbos.com/donate. You can sign up to be a Patreon member. That's how we keep this podcast going. Yeah, that's pretty much it, I guess. Follow us on all the socials. Follow us on TikToks. And I guess that's pretty much it.
Yes, and give us all access passes to your events.
Catch you in the next episode. We out.
Yeah. Yeah. Nasindapikira kubuda madombi dhorobha ndakananga ndakakwira makombi senganeushu kunobuda muvombi ndingafine nyota ndichiona mabhombi saka rega ndiswedere nditevere semunhu wane kabhuru muhomwe ndinyerere ndagona uchipinda ndabuda tudikita ndichiona uchitamba zvakadaro ngati rega nditi gede mwana gede tamba teya mene donedza musika usada kuwanza dzvene gede mwana gede nhasi ndiri mene donedza musika usada kuwanza dzvene gede mwana gede tamba teya mene donedza musika usada kuwanza dzvene gede mwana gede nhasi ndiri mene donedza musika usada kuwanza dzvene
Gede mwana gede sawanza dzvene kana waona mene pakadaya pari nungobodo havari fende pari kudaka miniski kakapfupi kadarika ndembe fefe it's just for the night santi baby you can't spend a money ukati kete you can't spend a night ukati kete saudze tete no you could be my one and only for tonight I want you home tell the DJ play my song and you can get whatever you like I don't wanna fall in love tonight I'm just trying to have fun cause the heart is being broken and I'm tired of being breaking I'd rather have you do that, Gede mwana gede.
Doneta musika usadako wanta jene. Gede mwana gede, nasi ndiri mene. Doneta musika usadako wanta jene. Gede mwana gede, tambate ya mene. Doneta musika usadako wanta jene. Gede mwana gede.